I just doubled my Spotify listeners for a new song doing exactly this. Hey, it's John here. I just put out a new song 2 months ago. It's called Beat on My Heart, and I just doubled the listeners that I'm getting for this song, doing exactly what I want to show you in this video here. But before I jump into Hyped It, click the subscribe, the like, and the bell icon below so that you can get more videos like this on YouTube that help you reach and get more fans for your music. I'm looking at my Hyped It dashboard, and what you see here is this campaign, this music ad automation campaign that I launched for this track, Beat on My Heart. And I launched this campaign on release day, and I want to show you what I did with this campaign in order to double the number of listeners it drives to my song on Spotify. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the little analytics icon here. Takes me to my ad analytics, and then in the top right corner here, I'm going to select all time. I want to show you all the data for this release. And now let me scroll down. The metric I want to focus on here is the cost per click. The cost per click tells me how much does it cost me every time I get a music fan from Facebook and Instagram over into Spotify. And if you have a fixed budget day after day after day, then the cost per click, you want this to be as low as possible while still getting real and engaged traffic over into Spotify. Because the lower the cost per result is, that means for your given budget, the more traffic and the more listeners do you generate in Spotify. So let me show you how this campaign started out and where it is right now. If I take my mouse here and I hover over the early days of the campaign, you can see that the cost per click here was 48 cents, 43 cents, 43 cents, even 81 cents here. So I was hovering around 40 cents, and on some of these outlier days, even a little bit more. At that point in time, this campaign was one of the worst campaigns that I had in my ad account. Most of the campaigns would have gotten me a lot better results for the budget. Now, when I saw this, my first reaction was, stop it. Let's turn this campaign off. This clearly doesn't work. But then I reminded myself, what are the key ingredients to a winning campaign? It's good music, it's a good audience, and it's a good amount of data. And in order to get a good amount of data, it needs time. So what I did is I let this campaign run. And here's what happens. So now we're, about a week in? The cost per result dropped to 25 cents, 27 cents, 22 cents. So clearly this was developing in the right direction, right? This was coming down, but this wasn't the end of it. There were a few days here where Facebook didn't report cost data, but it picked back up. So now we're about 2 weeks into the campaign, and it's 17 cents, 19 cents, 16 cents, 17. What is the next day here? 15. So now this campaign has found its sweet spot, right? So I went from converting over 40 cents per click to below 20 cents a click, which means for the same budget, I basically more than doubled the listeners that I'm driving to this song in Spotify. And the key question is, what did I do? How did this happen? How did the campaign improve so dramatically from the time it launched to 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in? And here's the key. Here's exactly what I did. Nothing. And I kid you not, I literally did nothing. All I did was trusting that the software and the AI would be able to optimize this campaign for me. And if you see here, what happened is this campaign is still performing around 20 cents. Some days it's a little below 20 cents, some days it's a little bit over. But over the course of 2, 3, 4 weeks, this campaign found its sweet spot with the help of software and AI. And that meant I didn't have to do anything. In fact, I would even suggest that if I had gone into Facebook Ads Manager and I had tried to manually turn off specific countries or specific interests or specific placements and try to optimize the budget manually, not only would it have cost me a lot of time, I might have spent an hour or two just analyzing data, but I probably would have screwed up the campaign too. Because if you try to do that, if you manually manage your campaign, what you're doing is you're working against the AI, against the algorithm, because the algorithm is trying to figure out how to get you the best result. But if you then go in from the other side and manually remove pieces from the equation, right? It's kind of like you're changing the rules of the game. It makes it impossible for the algorithm to optimize. So to me, the key takeaway here is with software and AI, you can have a winning ad campaign by literally doing nothing. All you gotta do is launch your campaign and then let the computer do the rest. That's exactly what I did here, and this is what I recommend. So if you launch a new campaign, even though you might doubt what this campaign is doing in the first couple of days, maybe it doesn't look all that great in the first couple of days. That was definitely the case here, but you might still have a winner there. All you got to do is give it time. This campaign is now by far my very best performing campaign among all the songs that I'm promoting. Had I turned off this campaign here in the beginning, where the data and the results came in pretty weak, I would have never enjoyed the benefit that I'm getting from this now, where my listeners on Spotify have now gone into the 30,000s of monthly listeners, heavily lifted by this campaign. And let me show you this in Spotify for Artists as well. So this is Beat on My Heart here. We're looking at 12 months. Obviously, this is only about 2 months old. But you can see how the optimization of that campaign that I showed you and hyped it has a direct effect on this campaign in Spotify for Artists, where it's just driving more and more listeners. We started off with somewhere in the 200s in terms of daily listeners, but as the campaign optimized, this went up 400 something. Now we're 500 something and even above that, right? Here's a peak of 900 daily listeners. So this just works. But I want to share something else that's important. And this is that you run these campaigns with a budget that is sustainable over a longer period of time. Let's say hypothetically you had an ad budget of $150 and you could either run a campaign that spends $50 for 3 days after you release, or you could run a campaign that spends $5 over 30 days. Then in my experience, I've always gotten a lot better results spending a lower budget over a longer period of time. If you spend a bigger budget over a short period of time, let's say $50 for 3 days, I would have never gotten into this place where the campaign is just completely optimized. I would have blown a lot of budget on an under-optimized campaign. But on the flip side, if you take a small budget and you run it over a longer period of time, this is when you give the software and the AI enough time to optimize the campaign and really deliver more and more listeners and fans and streams into Spotify. So keep the budget low, run it for a longer period of time, but give the campaign enough time and enough data to find its sweet spot. Now, you might be watching this and wondering, John, is there a guarantee that my campaign is going to optimize like this? It's literally going to double the results if I just let it run? And the answer to that is no, there's no guarantee for this. But look at it this way, if you don't let it run, you're not even giving yourself the chance. Again, had I killed this campaign early on, I would have not even given myself the chance of getting to the sweet spot here. So go in low, go in long, give yourself a decent chance to hit the sweet spot on your campaign and get a lot more fans, listeners, and streams on Spotify from it. And if this is something you want to try for your own music, all you got to do is go to hypedit.com, click on the green try for free button here. You can literally sign up for a 7-day free trial. You can launch a lot of these campaigns, see how they're performing before even deciding whether this is something that you want to keep using or not. With that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope to see you inside Hyped It, and I look forward to seeing you in another video as well. Cheers.